Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, March 20th, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a Planet X detection out there near the sun. Earlier today, there was a coronal mass ejection, and as you can clearly see on your screen, we were able to capture this on the Cactus coronagraph program. The yellow arrow is naturally signifying this detection. Now, it's been several weeks since we've actually had some visual observations, and there really hasn't been that much activity on the sun. However, it does seem that some minor activity is starting to pick up in the form of smaller coronal mass ejections, some filament releases, very, very small sunspots, and we've been actually sun spotless for quite some time. I have some other news for you. We're going to take a look at this information, and the other news is weather related, and I have a really, really strange story about an asteroid that actually exploded just above the Earth up near the North Pole back on December 18th. And that information was just released yesterday. So all of that information is on the Planet X News website. So I have some of this video information loaded into my video player so we can kind of go through this. So I'm going to go ahead and just collapse my screen here just a bit. And I have this loaded in my video player here so we can take a closer look at it. So I'm going to just go ahead and expand this screen again, and we're going to go ahead and let this start to play, and then I'll stop it where I need to. Now, oops, I just reset it. This is just a little bit of a color change, and I zoomed in a little bit more on this. Now, this coronal mass ejection was Earth-facing. It doesn't look like it from this view, but this view on Cactus is not an Earth view. So once again, we were able to detect this object, and it is in the right place. It is actually between the sun and the Earth. Now, if you look very carefully, you could see another smaller object right here. And then you see the larger object right here. You could even see some of its stripes, a lot of activity, and this was just caught in this coronal mass ejection. And over the years, I was able to figure out, this goes back to, I believe, early 2017. I was able to kind of predict when I was going to be able to capture this object, because I noticed that in prior captures, it was always related to a coronal mass ejection. And as I learned more and more about the dynamics of the sun and the dynamics of, at that time I was studying brown dwarf stars. So I was putting two and two together, and I said, okay, every time there's a coronal mass ejection and I get a good view of it, I may be able to capture this object. And sure enough, here we go once again. So, for a lot of people out there that say, oh, well, we don't believe in this, or, you're just a liar. We have so much observational evidence over the last 3.5 years. It's absolutely incredible. And here we are again today, March 20th, 2019, and this object is literally between the sun and the Earth. It came close enough to the sun to create, once again, this coronal mass ejection. And this time, this coronal mass ejection is Earth-facing. So we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit more information here. I'm going to go ahead and let this video player advance a little bit. And this was a statement. This was put out by NOAA, their Space Weather Prediction Center, And I got this alert. And when I got this alerted me to go and check and see if I was able to make an observation. And sure enough, it was available in the Cactus program. As the space weather prediction statement says, a G2 moderate geomagnetic storm watch is in effect for the 23rd of March 2019 due to an anticipated CME arrival. Meaning they saw the CME go off, they're able to calculate the timing from the minute that the CME occurred to the point where it will impact Earth. So that will be on or about the 23rd of March. This CME was detected and observed on the Soho-Lascaux coronagraphs. And I have the imaging, and we're going to go ahead and check it out. It states also that the CME was associated with a Class 4 C4 flare on March 20th, today. So we're going to go ahead and let this advance a little bit more in the video player. And here is the actual coronal mass ejection on the Cactus coronagraph program. Now, it goes by so fast. So it actually occurred, well, the time is covered up a little bit there. Let me just see here. I really can't make that out. It's either 11 or a 12. I know it was earlier this afternoon, so that would be around 12 noon UTC time. But I'll go ahead and just let me back it up just a little bit here. I could move this. I have it in a slower motion because the Cactus goes by very, very rapidly. And within this coronal mass ejection, this is where I was able to capture this object. And I'm going to go ahead and back it up here just a little bit. And I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to show you exactly where it was. Because this object, this Planet X object, it gets disguised within this coronal mass ejection. And because this is in far apart time stamps, you know, it's not in real time. So the object is going to move because these time stamps are pretty far apart. These are still photographs taken and then put together to form this quick video. So let's see if we could go ahead and just barely move this. It takes a little bit of just capture it. Let me see if I can just advance it this way. I might have to wait till we get to the end here. It's a pain in the butt whenever you slow this down. You can barely catch it. I have it set up at the end of the video here, and we'll go ahead and watch it. What we're going to see now is the actual coronagraphs, and you're going to see the coronal mass ejection. And again, this is Earth facing. So this is going to be arriving on the 23rd. This is pretty cool to watch, you know, but eventually, folks, we're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. One of these coronal mass ejections is going to do a lot of damage to the Earth. And the reason why I'm saying that now is because the Earth's magnetic shield is so weak, and it's going to be getting weaker and weaker and weaker as we continue to approach and get deeper and deeper into this grand solar minimum. I was discussing some of this information with Jake Riley from the Grand Solar Minimum channel. And this is definitely something that we need to keep a very close eye on for a long, long time. There may be some of us that really may not live through this grand solar minimum because there are some published papers and some information coming out now that, you know, it might be extended more than just the 11 years. We may feel the effects for 15, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years So we are getting into a very, very critical state here on our planet for many, many different reasons. In my opinion, based on all of my observational evidence over the years, and now adding the factor of a solar minimum into this, well, the outlook is not good, no matter which way you cut it. It's just not good. That's why I keep telling each and every one of you that it is very, very critical that you do make preparations to protect yourself and prepare for any type of natural disasters. So once again, we have a Planet X detection. We know this object is out there. It is orbiting the sun in about a 28-day orbit, and it's pretty close to the rotational period of the sun. And once again, you can see right here, there seems to be a smaller object orbiting with it. And I'm sure there may be other smaller objects, but they're just not visible here on the cactus. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here, and I'm going to just collapse this, and we are going to move over to the Planet X News website, because this is also some very, very critical information. The last live stream that I did and the one prior to that, dealing with the weather, I was mentioning all of the folks down under, all of our brothers and sisters down there in Australia. And, I was mentioning, well, specifically about, these cyclones and how the weather would be changing very drastically for these folks in Australia. Well, lo and behold, here we go. And this cyclone Veronica, it is going to impact Australia, and it's not going to be very good. There also is another system, Trevor, as you see on your screen here. Again, this is not going to be good. And this may be impacting as we speak and throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. So I will leave links for these two articles in the description box under the video. However, there is a link for the Planet X News website. You can simply click on that, go right to the website, and check out some of these articles. But this is some of the satellite imagery. Look at this. We have one here and one here. This was Trevor, and this was Veronica. And we're going to see one of these storms make a very, very critical turn directly inland. And that is due to the jet stream in the southern hemisphere. This states that tropical cyclone Veronica formed north of Kimberley, Western Australia on March 19th, 2019, yesterday. The low pressure system rapidly intensified yesterday, and BOM expects it to continue intensifying to a severe category with a severe tropical cyclone and coastal crossing possible from the Pilbara coast over the weekend. Now, basically, that jargon is saying it is going to make landfall. And as we move down here, and again, you folks might want to check this out. These are great satellite images. You can see this monster right here. We're going to go down, and we're going to take a look at the predictive chart. And you can see right here as it moves, and it intensifies, which is not good. And you can see the landfall area between these small cities and towns on this coastal community. And this is not going to be good. Now, here is another chart that I had, and you can see there is no weakening of this storm. It is going to get caught in that jet stream moving across, and it is literally going to get sucked right into land. Here are the models, and both of them make landfall. You can see Trevor is right here, and Victoria is right here. we'll go ahead. I'll back this up a little bit. And you can see I'll stop it. And we have the one system right off the coast here in northern Australia. The other one right here off the eastern coast of Australia. And that's it, folks. This one's going to come right in here. This system does seem to break up a little bit, but by the time it gets probably 25 to 50 miles inland, who knows how much damage it will do. Victoria is right over here, and it is going to make its way in. We'll go ahead and let the animation play. It's going to skirt the coast, and you can see it's a good thing that both of these storms do not merge together. But again, this is an animated model based on their predictions. Anything at any time can happen when dealing with the weather. These systems could always change. You can see they do break up over time, and that is all the way through March 27th. There's the date up there. Here is another model, same thing. You can see it's, they just missed a huge system. We're going to go ahead and replay this down here. If you watch down here below in the southern portion of Australia, watch this system right here, way down below here. Look at the size of that. So we'll go ahead and replay it, but you'll see this system enters here, Trevor, Victoria, and they're both going to be making landfall. Pretty incredible. I don't know exactly how much rainfall is going to be associated with Victoria. This system, Trevor, does look like it breaks up pretty quick, but based on the timeline, you're looking at the 25th. There's the date right up here. So this system's going to be rolling in. It's probably rolling in now or very close to making landfall. But then you're looking at 5 days. 5 days. So for you folks down under, please be very, very careful. I'm sure that all of you in this region of Australia, I'm sure you already know that these two monsters are coming your way. Now, for all of us here in the United States, well, let's just say this. It's not looking too good, folks. There has been a lot of damage out in the Midwest. I got a report today that just in the state of Nebraska, over $1 billion worth of damage to the farming communities. And if you guys remember, I was talking about that in my last 2 live streams, specifically the last one that I did. And I said if this occurred, and severe damage occurred to farmland, whether it be growing wheat or corn or raising cattle or pigs. There's some pig farmers out there. There's cattle farmers out there. We might see catastrophic damage, and that will definitely start to affect food prices across this country from one coast to the next. And it seems that has occurred. Now, getting into our weather system, what is coming up right now, oh man, we can't get a break. The headline on this article is fast developing nor'easter to dump heavy rain from the mid-Atlantic to the northeast of the United States. Let's take a look at this map. Now, this is a precipitation map. And again, folks, this is all current. This is all what we're going to be looking forward to. You could see vast amounts of rain coming through the southwest, all the way from northern California, over the Rockies. Well, listen, they have just gotten crushed in Colorado by heavy amounts of snow, very cold temperatures. I saw a few videos today of some highways in Colorado that just looked like parking lots. Vehicles abandoned, just impassable, very, very deadly situations. The flooding situation, oh, I would say, excuse me, from the northern border of Canada, moving all the way down through all of these states, we're going to be seeing some very, very severe flooding, folks. The state of Minnesota, the state of Iowa, the state of Missouri, Arkansas, and then probably leading into Louisiana, the western edge of Tennessee. All of these states that you see in the green, just about all of this area, everything you see here, and probably leading into Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, is going to be in very serious situations when it comes to this flooding. It's not going to stop. It's not going anywhere. So it is best to be prepared and keep your eyes and your ears open when it comes to your weather. You can see right here on this map, once again, it's going to show you the extent of some rainfall through Thursday and Friday, and you see up here locally heavy rain. So as ice melt continues, that flooding is going to get worse as the temperatures start to increase and we have ice melt. Well, naturally, that flooding's going to get much, much worse. I've been hearing of a lot of ice jams destroying bridges. I mean, it's just a very, very terrible situation. And you can see 3 high pressures, 1, 2, 3, moving through, and that's going to change. So as we move on, and I believe this is actually backwards. This is the 19th going into Friday through the 22nd. So you can see these large, heavy patches of precipitation all up through the New England states, all down through the Southwest, just west of Texas. And again, folks, you can see it's not getting any better. It's actually getting worse. There are a few models that I put into this article for you guys to check out. You can watch the time-lapse dates right up above here on both of these. This is a little bit more of a close-up of the Atlantic Northeast as that system rolls through, how much rain it's going to dump. Now, thank God some of these systems are going to be fast when they roll through. But depending on how much rain they dump, well, that's something that we're going to have to wait and see. So this was the article in relation to the fast developing nor'easter that's going to be dumping this rain all across the Northeast. And as you can see, pretty much all across the entire midsection of the United States. I would say by looking at this, 2/3 of the United States will be affected by this system. Something that I found very, very interesting and also very, very scary. I'm going to go ahead and get into this article and I'll let you all go. Right here, this information just came out, even though this just happened on December 18th, 2018. NASA finally released the information stating that a 173 kiloton explosion occurred over the Bering Sea. What was it? Well, it was a big asteroid breaking up and exploding just in the upper atmosphere. Now, it was actually caught on some satellite video. Now, it doesn't look like much. You see where the arrow is? You see that wee tiny little red impression right there? Well, folks, that's actually the explosion itself. You see this black line right here, and that was just particles left over as that asteroid streamed in and it exploded. 173 kilotons. As it states right here, on December 18th, 2018, a school bus-sized meteor exploded over the Earth with an impact energy of roughly 10 atomic bombs. According to NASA, the blast was the second largest meteor impact since the organization began tracking them 30 years ago. And then they referenced the Chelyabinsk Russian meteor that exploded back in 2013. We all saw those incredible videos. Here is another satellite photograph where they were able to capture the actual plume. That is what that is. That is the plume of the explosion of this large meteor. This is a very good read. I would definitely read all of this. It was pretty interesting. It said that the meteor weighed about 1,500 tons, and yeah, came in about 71,000 miles an hour. So here's the deal, folks. Okay, it exploded right here, and then they show other meteors. Here's the Tunguska event of 1908. I'm sure all of you have seen those photographs before of the leveled trees. They look like little toothpicks just, toppled over for miles. There wasn't a lot of people that lived in that area at that time, but it was total devastation. Tora, March 2019, and that wasn't too big here, but we have the Bering Sea, 2018. Okay, that's where that large meteor exploded. Thank goodness it wasn't over land. But folks, let's take a close look at this. So we have an asteroid that explodes in the atmosphere, and just imagine if its trajectory was different and it impacted over the United States, over Russia, over any population. Okay, so as they state, this was equivalent to 10 atomic bombs. 10. This is just absolutely incredible, but at the same time, it's very scary. And since 2015 and going into 2016, we have seen a major uptick in near-Earth objects. And once again, if you read through this article, once again, the part of NASA that deals with these near-Earth objects, they state that they didn't see it coming. There's a video in here that shows some of these details. It's a pretty good video. You guys are more than welcome to click on that. It's a couple minutes long. But this is showing you from 1988 through April 15th to 2019, March 15th, all of the major impact energy. Now, these are not all meteors hitting the ground, but exploding in the upper atmosphere or the lower atmosphere. So you can see, pretty polluted. Pretty polluted. There's some more additional information that I've included for just your knowledge about meteors and asteroids. Here's a very good photograph. Once again, you can see the red plume from the explosion. And again, folks, it doesn't look like it's that big, but the Earth is a pretty big place. So this was actually captured by one of the space weather satellites. Absolutely incredible. So there's a lot of good information here. There's a few links in here to the Planetary Defense Coordination Office. Some of you guys might find this information interesting. But, you know, as I discovered this incident happening on December 18th, and we don't hear anything about it. We don't hear anything about it till yesterday. I don't know if they were just withholding the information from the world population or what. But, you know, 173 kiloton explosion in the Earth's atmosphere, whether it be in an unpopulated area over the Bering Strait or whatever. I'm just wondering why it took them so damn long to come out here and say something about it. Here we are already into the middle of March, and 3 months later, they decide to talk about it. One day, again, the Earth is going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It just seems over the last several years, the Earth has just become a very violent place to live. We have this Planet X object affecting the sun going into a solar minimum, our magnetosphere decreasing, so therefore our protection from cosmic rays, solar radiation is decreasing, earthquake activity on the rise, volcanic activity on the rise, complete and total climate chaos worldwide. I mean, what's next? We got meteors, asteroids exploding in our atmosphere at the level of 173 kilotons. What's next? What else could happen? We have pretty much worldwide flooding everywhere. What's next? So, folks, that's my point. Just prepare. Don't think for one split second that any of this stuff is fake. It's something that you shouldn't pay attention to, because the minute you stop paying attention to it, that's when you're going to get stuck. So I'm going to leave links for this in the description box. You guys can hit the link for the Planet X News website. Go check these articles out. Share them on your social media accounts with Twitter and Facebook. Get people in the loop. Start talking about it. The awakening is definitely now. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. Be safe out there, folks.